Parkour can be dangerous. But in reality, it's only as dangerous as you make it. So I've been doing parkour for 20 years and wanted to give you 5 principles I've lived by that have helped prevent me from getting any serious injuries. Now first off, we don't need all this. Okay, maybe a little bit more than this. Alright, that's more like it. So with the right approach to parkour, you don't actually need all of this equipment. So the reason we don't need safety equipment for learning parkour is the same reason you don't need safety equipment to exercise. Because the foundation of parkour is exercise. It's motion, it's movement, it's understanding how your body moves. So the first principle I wanted to introduce you for how to do parkour safely is to develop body awareness. So what do I mean by body awareness? This is your mindful awareness of the way your body moves, where it is in space as you're moving, and your knowledge of your actual skill to be able to move and do specific movements. So developing body awareness just requires being mindful that while you're doing exercises, while you're trying to learn new parkour moves, you're focused on learning the mechanics of your body. To give you a quick example for something you can easily practice on your own, think about the push-up. When you're doing the push-up, are you just muscling through it and trying to not think about it? That's how a lot of people exercise, because exercise is uncomfortable. But if you can actually lean into the feeling, what are you actually feeling at each point, and focusing on different body parts while you're going through the motion, you'll start to develop an awareness of what your ability is and where your body is during that move. So when you start learning more parkour moves, easier for you to develop that awareness of what your foot's doing, what your arm's doing while you're doing specific movements. And going through those moves and exercises with that awareness will help you have the knowledge of what your actual capabilities are, so that you're not doing anything you're not actually ready for, helping prevent unnecessary injuries. Another important aspect of awareness is auditory awareness, being able to hear the sounds around you, the feedback you get from running or jumping. Those things help feed into your overall awareness, which is why I wanted to introduce you to today's sponsor, the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. I use these to train and listen to music that also allows me to hear my surroundings, because they have an awareness mode so that I can train, listen to music, and hear what's going on. They also have active noise canceling, so if you're going for the opposite effect, it's definitely something to worth consider. They got 32-hour battery life, so great for just lasting a long time and not having to worry about charging it. They also stay in my ears really well for training, which is important when doing parkour, because you're doing a lot of big dynamic movements, and being able to have something that stays in your ear while training parkour is important. Another feature I use a lot is the ability to pair to multiple devices. So I'll often use them connected to my phone and computer, and can easily switch back and forth to what I'm listening to. So if you like to listen to music while you're training, or you're just looking for new earbuds for an affordable price, be sure to go to the website buyraycon.com/stunts to get 20% off your purchase. You can also find the link in the description below. So now that we've developed body awareness and knowledge of our skill set, we can now work our way into our second principle, which is incremental progressions. So this is taking one of our basic movement skills, like the push-up we had just been doing, and advancing it with incremental progression. By incremental, I mean we're taking our time, going slow, and feeling through each progression and experimenting with how our body responds to the different progressions. So I'm going to give you an example from the push-up to the Kong vault. So now you know you can push up. If you can do a push-up, it means you can probably hop your feet up. And if you can hop your feet up to your hands, the next progression is to do it up onto a ledge. All right, next we're going to try and get further onto the ledge using momentum. Now once we have the momentum to get further, then we know we can actually do the Kong vault to clear the ledge by just applying more momentum. So another example of the progression is we did the Kong vault on that low ledge. Now we can progress it through something bigger, following the same type of progressions. This same type of progression can be applied to almost any type of parkour movement. Now you will reach a point with some progressions where you simply have to make that leap and kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone to try it. But because of the coordination you've developed through your training and your drills doing all of this, you can minimize the risk of making that next jump in progression being as dangerous as it could be. Our third safety principle is to learn how to fall safely. So there's a few ways to think about how to fall safely. There's first, recovering from falls. So this is when you see people doing a rollout, either from a large drop or over rotating. They're able to do a forward roll or backwards roll to disperse that impact and smoothly come up onto their feet. The other aspect to it is when you actually fall and hit the ground, knowing how to fall so that you're not actually going to injure yourself or reduce the level of injury you might receive. After you've learned recovery moves and you've learned how to fall and hit the ground, it's then practicing those in a variety of different ways so that you can adapt in the moment to know how to react and respond to a situation where you are falling to reduce injury. So there's a variety of recovery moves you can do. There's rolling, there's popping out with your hands, like in different types of quadrupedal movements or cartwheels. And then there's simply knowing the correct way to hit the ground when you are falling. The main goal when you go to fall and hit the ground is that you aren't reaching for the ground with your hands, because if you land the wrong way with your arm reaching back, that's how people break their arms. So the goal when falling is to actually disperse the impact along as much of your body as possible. So say I'm landing on my back, I'm not going to try and reach my arms like this. I'm going to let my back hit the ground, but try and land as flat as possible, and I can keep my arms out to the side and my feet pushing down a little bit to help absorb that impact so that I land as flat as possible, and my limbs can absorb a little bit of the impact. You just want to avoid reaching straight for the ground, whichever direction you're falling. If it's to the side, it's the same thing. I don't necessarily want to be trying to catch myself like this, especially if I'm coming down hard. The goal would be to take it to the body and just use my arms as support against the ground, going flat along the ground, because again, this is dispersing the impact. Now, if you'd like more in-depth on how you can train recovery moves and how to fall, I made a whole tutorial on how to fall safely, so be sure to check that out in the description. But otherwise, this principle is mainly up to you to practice the different varieties of falling and recovering in different ways so that it can become built into you to know how to do them instinctively. You don't have to think about it. Your body starts falling and your body reacts and knows exactly what to do to prevent injury. Our fourth principle for staying safe is to do a proper warm-up before you train. This principle applies to any type of fitness or sport you'll be doing, and I'm bringing it up here because it's especially important for parkour. You're doing different types of hard impacts on your body, a lot of strange movements with your joints in the vaults and climb-ups you might be trying to do, or if you get into flips. So it's important that you warm up your full body in preparation for your parkour training. Now, to do a proper warm-up, the goal of it is to, 1, warm up your body, 2, activate the muscle groups that are going to be involved doing parkour, and 3, the goal isn't to fatigue yourself. The warm-up isn't meant to be the workout, it's just meant to get moving, to prime your muscles and joints for the types of moves that you'll be doing. And then consider the type of warm-ups you'll be doing. You can do warm-up movements or exercises that will coincide with your parkour training. One example is a skipping jog for when you'll be doing precision jumps or strides, or maybe a quadrupedal movement because you're activating your arms and feet in a way that's similar to the way you're going to be doing and practicing vaults. There's a lot of movements you can do to warm up. Those are just a couple examples, so be sure to experiment and see what works best for you. Our last principle is conditioning. So with conditioning, it's not just about the exercises that are going to help you do parkour well, it's also about the exercises and stretches that are going to help prevent injury while training parkour. There is a lot of impact in parkour, so being able to strengthen your body, your bones, your joints is going to help prevent stress injuries or long-term injuries training parkour. And there's also conditioning for when you fall and actually hit the ground, preventing injury. The more flexibility you have and the more muscle mass even you have, the more strength you have, the more ability you have to endure the impact of a fall. You're less likely to get injured because you have a wider range of motion with your limbs, so they're less likely to be tweaked as severely if they have the flexibility. And with the added strength, you'll be able to absorb the impact of the fall better if you have the conditioning behind it. Now, the specific exercises aren't so important. It's more about the consistency that you're continually training your body, building strength, building flexibility, and allowing your time recovery as well between training sessions, between conditioning, so that you're not overworking your body. You can't get stress injuries from training too hard too often. Although there's a wide range of exercises you can do to help condition your body, consider focusing for parkour things that are calisthenic based or plyometric based. Be sure to improve your mobility through stretching, doing both static stretching and active stretching. This is stretches that you're either holding or stretches that you're moving your body through. You can incorporate weightlifting to increase muscle mass and bone density, so be sure to experiment to find what works for you. The important thing is that you stay consistent. That's how you'll see the most progress and see the most ability to prevent yourself from getting injured while training parkour. So that's my 5 principles for you. These are what I've lived by that have helped prevent me from getting serious injuries over 20 years of doing parkour professionally and just for fun. And so hope you can apply these and they help you out. Remember to just take your time, be safe out there, be cautious, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.